Hey everybody, and welcome to this week's edition of a double feature where we are looking at the Spielberg fun little flick, Catch Me If You Can, starring Tom Hanks and a young Leonardo DiCaprio. So if you haven't seen it, go see it. It's a pretty fun film. Let's start by talking about exotic locales with you, Thane. So you
Okay.
up that every single time that Frank Abagnale Sr. talks to his son, Frank Abagnale Jr., he always starts the conversation with, "Where are you going tonight, Frank? Somewhere exotic?" And you're pointing out that it has a lot to do with fulfilling unrequited dreams and challenges through the son. And my question for you is, why does it always have to be someplace exotic?
Ooh. I think, what I loved about this movie was that it was so multifaceted. It wasn't just this simple story about this boy who became a forger and then was caught, It really, and like to your point, in your review as well, there's just so many family things. I mean, there's divorce, there's abandonment. I mean, there's just so many different things. And one of these things that I was thinking was, Frank Sr., he's a war hero.
Yeah.
And he's at
least a veteran.
Okay. He's a war veteran.
Yeah.
He's a war veteran, and he's, to your point in case, he's got a trophy wife, if you will, or I guess at that point, an ex-trophy wife. But, for Frank Sr., I think he is just the epitome of the Shazam effect, Look at me, look what I'm doing, I'm the second mouse, I am on top, I am so great, this, that, and the other. And I think that comes because you've lived a dumpy life, a really crummy life, which Frank Sr. has, at least. Well, I guess we don't get any details into his childhood, but we kind of get to see the result of a lot of his choices, and he's kind of living. And so I think the exotic part is sort of that flashiness that comes about in his character. This, ooh, where are you going? You going to Tahiti? You going to Hawaii? Where are you going, Frank? I mean...
So it's if it's flashy, it's better.
Right, if it's flashy, then it's better. And I do like that a lot about the beginning of the film when he's trying to get his son a suit, he's talking to the woman, and he goes to the bank, he's talking to the bank teller or the bank loan guy, whatever. I mean, all of that is just flash, it's style, it's to get people to almost feel bad for him and give him what he wants. I mean, I'm not exactly like I said, his character isn't as explored as Frank Jr.'s was throughout the film, but I still really liked that. I really liked that it's this father who is basically trying to push his son in a certain direction so that he can sort of die in this whatever trance, I guess. I don't know.
Okay, sure.
But but then that raises an even bigger question. Is Frank Sr. a good father? I don't know. I mean,
I'd be willing to say
and that was okay. So you're saying no. Okay, and to your point, to your review, I really liked your review about the dual father figure, because that's something that I didn't even think about, that Carl was this other father figure to him. And here's my question then. So which father figure then do you think helped Frank more? because Carl may have caught him and turned him to right and he's now living the honest life.
Mm-hmm.
But at the end of the film, he has this moment where he feels like maybe life is empty. I need to chase my father's dream in order to be happy. He's reverting back to the same patterns his father reverted to, which is, where are you going tonight? Where are you going? And he gets the suit, he's going on the airplane, and then Carl's like, hey, no one's chasing you. No one's chasing you anymore.
Yeah. And I like that because,
okay, sorry.
To bring it to your point, when Carl meets Frank in the airport, he doesn't ask that. He doesn't ask, where are you going? He just says, this is your life. I mean, consequences are going to happen, but you're right, nobody's chasing you. Because Carl lets Frank see that life isn't the glitz and the glamour. It's not getting an award at the Rotary Club. It's not getting the French wife.
Right.
It's not having somebody drive you around. It's not being an airline pilot so you can give autographs away to everybody. It's being able to trust in people. And
right.
Frank saw at that moment that Carl trusted him. His father never trusted him. His mother was too wrapped up in her deteriorating marriage to really trust him one way or the other. Carl's the first one to ever do that. And I think because he saw that, by his own free will, he showed up at the office again. And I think,
okay. No,
I think that one act alone is enough to, we'll say, atone for his last fling. So yeah, it's Carl is the stronger father figure by the end, hands down.
Sure. Okay. Here's an even more interesting question.
All right.
Fatherhood aside, whatever, all that aside, do you think Junior would have been able to pull this off today?
No, not with the not with his methods that he was using and the technology that is done today. Because as they were talking about, he was doing floating checks where he'd have to cash the check and then it would be sent in the mail to the reserve bank to be redeemed. Whereas now it's all electronic, it's instant.
Yeah, that's true.
So yeah, his check cashing scheme, at least that part, to get the money part, that wouldn't have happened. And the fact that security in airports is now so blasted tight, you couldn't make a badge because it wouldn't have been synced into the database. So when they go and scan it, so that would have been out.
You couldn't you couldn't have a flock of young 19-year-old women stand in front of you and the police just not even recognize that you're standing behind all these beautiful women.
Yeah, probably.
That's my favorite part.
Maybe the only thing that he could have done is pass the bar exam. Because if, as he said, he just studied like mad for 2 weeks and then went in and took the test, legit. So yeah, he probably could still do that. I don't think the bar exam has changed very much.
That's probably true. Maybe he could watch more Law and Order.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, but it's, I think again, another thing I like about this movie is that, I mean, they just portray the trust of the 1960s very well. Everyone was just so trusting. You're a boy doing a school report on airplanes? Sure, come on in. Let me tell you all the secrets of the biz. And, you want to take me out to steak dinner? Sure, come behind the counter. I'll show you how all the checking works in the back of the bank.
Yeah.
Anyways, I just think that's what makes this story so fun.
Well, and I think some of that probably could still happen. Maybe not there at the bank, but over dinner. I mean, it's the charm. It's the art of seduction and manipulation.
Right. Oh, that's true. That's true.
Because if Frank Sr. taught his son anything, it was that. It was shameless flattery. Here's the charm. Let's now get what we want.
You must have dropped it in the parking lot. Must have fallen right off your neck. Yeah.
And then just little smile, little wink. Charm your way in.
Fair enough.
Now it's your turn. Is this a movie about father figure? Why is Frank running in the first place? What is the relationship between Frank and Carl? And let us know what you think in the comments. If you haven't seen it, go and see it, obviously, before you start spouting off your mouth. But once you have imbibed pure knowledge, let us know. We'd appreciate it. All right, and then follow us on social media. Come back here next week so you can see our next little film fest. And, as always, watch good movies.